Well, hello there. You are listening to Nellyville, the podcast. And I'm Black. Hello, Shillo. Welcome back to another episode of Nellyville, the podcast, the place to be. So glad to have you here once again. This is episode 3, season 9. We out here, we dipping in and doing it. It's great. It's lovely. Celebrating the last little piece of summer. Although, however, depending on where you are in the world, if you are in somewhere like Texas, or if you down south of the US of A, if you're in a warm climate year round, the end of summer, what does it really mean? Perhaps it means back to school. Perhaps it means back to work. Perhaps it means, it might be something that kind of marks that for you. But weather-wise, maybe not too much is going to change. Or maybe it's not going to change for a while. Either way, for creeping up on Labor Day, if you celebrate Labor Day wherever you are. So, do your research, teach your children what it is. A lot of people get these things confused. Labor Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day. I know some of you are like, Chanel, how could you possibly get those things misconstrued and conflated and equated? You would be surprised. You would be surprised how many people confuse those holidays or think that they are the same thing or have no idea what they are. They just know that one of them marks the beginning of summer, one of them marks the end of summer, and one of them, is like, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So look, all that to say, do your research. This is not what we're here to talk about. So anyways, with all that being said, let's just hop right into the juice that I have for you guys today. So the first thing I want to talk about, y'all know the J.K. Rowling. Okay, if you don't know who J.K. Rowling is, that is going to be the author of the Harry Potter series, the books of the Harry Potter, okay? I personally never read the Harry Potter. I know, I'm sorry. Look, I've heard great things. No knocking. I just never got, I didn't get into it. Not because I didn't want to, I just kind of never got around to it, okay? Anyway, so J.K. Rowling wrote the books. I did see, like, one of the movies, maybe 2. Look, I understand the hype. And hey, it's never too late. I might hop on the train. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go give her my money. I can go over to the little library and check it out, and then I can watch all the movies. I don't know. Anyways, all I'm saying is, look, J.K. Rowling, she came under fire a few years ago. She had some transphobic things to say. She, people, she hurt a lot of people's feelings because, lady, a lot of your fans are from the queer community, and you're gonna come out and say what you said, but that's not what we're talking about. Okay, so she has come up again in the media, and the people have been talking. So y'all know the app Duolingo, right? It's kind of like a Rosetta Stone, but like in a game form for you to be able to learn different languages, right? It's an app, Duolingo. You know, the one that's got that little bird or whatever. I've been using it here recently. I've used it off and on. Duolingo is a great app. If you want to learn a language and you want it to be kind of fun, I recommend Duolingo. It's pretty cool. I've used it off and on for a few years, mostly for Spanish. They're starting to offer some other classes outside of language, but I digress. So apparently, this reporter, this lady has been using the Duolingo, and I'm sure you're like, okay, how does this all tie together? There's a lot of moving parts here, Chanel. Get to the point. I'm trying to. Stick with me. Hang on tight, okay? So this lady, she's using the Duolingo to learn how to speak German. And in one of the questions, the correct answer was, obviously in German, but it said something along the lines of J.K. Rowling being a mean person. Okay? And so that lady was like, hey, that's not fair. Why is this app calling this woman mean? This is weird. We don't like that. So it caused a ruckus. It caused a, little controversy, if you will. Look, Duolingo didn't say why they called that woman mean. Can one infer that maybe they called her mean because she said some mean things? Maybe. Could it have been a coincidence? Could have been completely ironic. I don't know. Who knows? All that to say, Duolingo ended up issuing an apology, and they have redacted that part of their lesson, and they've changed it. So, whatever. Somebody made a hee hee ha ha comment and was like, well, that lady's past that section now. It's okay, Duolingo. Go ahead and change it back. Which I thought that was pretty funny, but also, hey, it's kind of true. Look, I'm not saying going around calling people mean. You don't need to fight fire with fire. And there's no need to be negative. But hey, we gonna call a spade a spade. She did say something that was mean, but also, y'all, look at the Duolingo app. Don't take it so personal. It is what it is. But anyway, so that's that. So, speaking of people who are having issues with names and stuff being thrown around. Okay, have y'all heard the latest about Lexi Love? So Lexi Love, Drag Race contestant, Louisville drag queen. Shout out to the Louisville queens. Shout out. Y'all know I love the Lexi Love, okay? Well, she's really going through some things right now. All off of her name, okay? She is in the middle of a trademark copyright infringement battle over her name, her stage name, Lexi Love. Here goes this girl, some girl, done came out the woodwork talking about, that's my name. I own the rights and the trademark to that name. You can't use that name. Baby, Lexi Love's music has been taken off Spotify. Her music's been taken off of iTunes. She's lost her Twitter account, aka X. She's lost her Facebook. I think she's lost her Instagram, maybe even her TikTok. The point is, not even that. She's had shows cancel on her because not only has this rando sent a cease and desist to Lexi Love, the Drag Race contestant, but this other woman, the aka the real Lexi Love, has sent cease and desist to the venues and to the promoters and the people who are putting on the shows that have booked Drag Race's Lexi Love. So this woman is attacking this girl at every angle. Now, no, some of you are wondering, okay, well, why now? The season of which that Lexi Love was on Drag Race is been over. Not to mention, they start filming a year before, and they announce who's going to be on it way before. Not to mention, Lexi Love, the drag queen, has been out here on the scene for about a decade, performing under the name of Lexi Love. Now all of a sudden she's popping off and you want to sit up here and be like, hey, that's my name, that's trademark, I ain't no. But fair is fair. If that's your name, the woman claims that she's an actress. And whatever, I don't know. I ain't never heard of it. But just because who am I? I'm definitely not the metric, the standard, or the, who am I? I'm not handing out accolades. Just because I don't know who she is don't mean that she ain't somebody. All I'm saying is the timing is a little off. And you want to wait now to when Shawty's out here dipping and doing it and making her coin now, so you want to come in now, baby, you can't use my name. Then to add insult to injury, Lexi Love's trying to reach out to you. Her team's trying to reach out to you to come to some kind of agreement of, can I license out the name? Can we come up with some kind of compromise? The girl don't want to talk. She's not reaching out to Drag Race Lexi Love. She's not corresponding with, the Drag Race Lexi Love, the team. Nobody. So I'm trying to figure out, what, sorry, y'all, hit the mic stand. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. But anyways, so I don't really know where one goes from here. I mean, even if, because this looks like what's gonna happen, Lexi's gonna have to change her name. She won't be the first artist, drag queen, or whatever to change her name and rebrand. You know, the artist formerly known as. You know what I'm saying? But it is really, really hard to rebrand like that, especially when you're still kind of building yourself to rebrand now at this pivotal moment when you're really booming in your career. It's really awkward timing. Not to mention, where does this leave Drag Race, World of Wonder, Paramount? Where does this leave the Drag Race franchise, who has advertised Lexi Love? Do y'all see what I'm saying? What? How? I don't know what the legal obligation here is. Like like Lexi Love's season of Drag Race, will Paramount still be able to show those episodes where she's in it, where they say her name? Because they don't have the rights to that name. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? This is really a greater issue. All of the music that Lexi Love has put out, if she has recorded it under her name, does she have to now re-record all of her music? Does she automatically lose the rights to her music? I mean, this is a really messy, very expensive thing. And when, I mean, like I said, gigs they've already canceled Lexi because they can't promote her in the show. You see what I'm saying? Until she rebrands and people knows who she is. If a performer is booked on the show, obviously they are going to get ticket sales based off of someone's name. They can't just say Skibbity Boppity Boo is coming and say formerly known as Lexi Love. Like, it doesn't work like that. People aren't going to know who that is. And people ain't trying to get sued. But if you're not being able to get booked for gigs because they can't promote your name, how are you going to pay for all this legal stuff that you're going to have to do? I mean, it's really disheartening. You know, look, at the end of the day, it's all going to work out the way that it's supposed to. And, you know, there's a way for Lexi to come out on top with all of this. But it's really unfortunate. It really just shows how just mean and nasty and vindictive a person can be. Now, I don't know how much World of Wonder, which is, you know, the umbrella company of all of the, like, the Drag Race franchise stuff and just other things too. I don't know how much World of Wonder, Paramount, MTV, RuPaul himself, I don't know how much they can step up or will want to step up to help with the financial or even the legal part of all of this. I imagine they will step up because it kind of affects them too. Because now, I mean, in perpetuity, they're just always going to have to be, they're gonna have to find a workaround of any time that Lexi Love, either her person or that name, has been used. I don't know. Hopefully Mother will step in and help a sister out. But gosh, Lexi, that poor girl cannot catch a break. She can't catch a break. But you know what? Made an even bigger and better name come for you, come find you, and hopefully, you know, you can start getting booked and busy here again soon. But to that woman trying to come for you, and then the woman's just being so nasty. She's just being so nasty. Just talking about poor little Lexi all kind of ways. Talking about just her struggle with addiction, her being, you know, just really the vulnerable things that Lexi Love, the drag queen, has shared, either on the show or online or whatever. That woman who's claiming that she's got the trademark is just really just throwing. It's getting really ugly. So, look, all I gotta say is artists of any kind or anybody who is, you know, thinking about putting themselves out into the world, even if it's just a name of a company, whatever, just do your due diligence to figure out who owns the rights to what, if you can actually use that name, because you would hate to build your reputation off of a name. You would hate to build your brand or your franchise or your business off of a name, only then to be hit with a cease and desist with somebody saying you can't use that name or that logo or that, you know. I know I personally am teetering a very delicate line because I have name brand myself Nellyville. Now, even though I spell it differently than the Nellyville, like Nelly the rapper, I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. I'm kind of teetering a line, and I made peace with that because I really like the name Nellyville because I've been called Nellyville before Nellyville was out. I'm not saying that one people weren't calling him Nellyville first. All I'm saying is I did not get that from him, and I really like it, and I like the way that I spell it because it looks the same forwards and backwards. If you take the N and put it in the back and flip it around, it's still Nellyvylle. I'm just saying it's really cool. It's really pretty. It's amazing, but I am no fool. I understand that one day my luck may run out. And if y'all ever come to the podcast or see me on YouTube or something, all of a sudden the name done changed again, baby, you gonna know why. But for right now, we gonna ride this wave while we can. Alexi, good luck to you, sweetie. Don't nothing good come to people that be all ugly trying to bring people down because they out here dipping in and doing it, okay? Anyways, enough on that. Let's talk about people trying to bring people down. So this next little thing, look, this is something else. I see it from both sides. So Serena Williams, y'all know Serena, is starting to promote some type of GLP-1 drug, which is like it's going to be something too similar to like the Ozempic, what's the other one called? Is it Moderna? Is it anyways, y'all know Ozempic. That one I know y'all know. So the GLP-1 it's a weight loss drug, right? And apparently I think her husband is actually a partner for that company or owner or whatever. Anyway, so she's promoting it and this and that. So the issue is, here comes Jamila Jamil. Do y'all know Jamila? Okay, so I know Jamila mostly from being a judge on, gosh, what's the name of the show? Oh my gosh, what is the name of the show? Legendary? Oh no, it's not Legendary. Gosh, oh gosh, hold on. Anyways, Jamila, she's an actress. You probably say go look her up. You're gonna know. You're gonna know. Gosh, hold on. Let me tell you the name of the show. Jesus. Yeah, it is Legendary. Okay, so hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me make sure because I feel like I think it is. No, it's not Legendary. Which hold on, Jamila Jamil. Hold on, judge. She was a judge. Yeah, I don't know why Legendary doesn't sound right to me, but anyways, Legendary was a show. Man, it was so good. It had like 3 seasons. Megan Thee Stallion was a judge on there. La Roach and Leomi. It was a ballroom voguing competition show. It was so good. It came on HBO. I don't know why, but they took it off. And man, that show was so good. Anyways, not the point. I was trying to get y'all to know who Jamila Jamil is, if you don't know who she is. But anyways, so how does Jamila play in all of this? So Jamila made a post saying, no Sade, No Sade to Miss Serena. Like, it was a long post, but it essentially was saying was celebrities need to be careful about promoting the things that they promote, especially when it comes to drugs or health or surgery or whatever. When it comes to those types of things, you got to be very careful, because celebrities or people with money have access to certain types of doctors and healthcare and medical treatment that maybe the everyday citizen does not have access to. And just because something worked for you does not mean it's going to work for everyone. And she was just saying, like, it might be a little irresponsible for Serena to be promoting this thing. And she was just being, was warning people, like, look, I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm not even saying Serena is wrong. All I'm saying is if you are going to partake in one of these types of drugs, just make sure you're doing all of your research, you're consulting with multiple doctors, and you really understand what it is that you are doing. It's not just some magic pill, and it might not, it's not a one size fits all type of thing. And that's very true. Look, I see it from both sides. Look, people gotta make their coin. I like that Serena's being honest about, she used it, and she's not out here just saying, oh, I exercise 3 times a day and I ate, baked chicken and broccoli for 6 months and I lost. At least she ain't out here lying. She's being honest that she, had a little extra help to get that weight off, and she's not gatekeeping. Okay. I also think that these types of drugs, the Ozempics and stuff, I think that it's been out long enough that most of us are familiar with what it is and how it works, and understand that, any medical treatment or drug or whatever, it's gonna affect different people in different ways. And I don't know how easy it is to get. I mean, I would imagine that it's not, I don't think it's something where it's over the counter. I don't think it's something that you can obtain without, look, there's always a way to go around the system and get it, under the table. It's always, I'm not obtuse. But for the most part, doctors ain't just gonna hand it out like Skittles. And these things are, they are expensive, and if you can afford it, even at the cheaper version, you probably do have access to that type of health care to where you can really be monitored and know if you need to stop taking it, if you're even eligible to take it, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Could Jamila just be a hater and just wanted just to say something? Maybe. But I don't think she was wrong, because people really be out here trying to be like these celebrities, what, no matter what. But Jamila, when you look the way that you do, ain't nobody trying to hear nothing from, like, no Sade. But while Jamila may not have been wrong, it coming from her, it may fall on deaf ears, because it's easy for a little toothpick of a woman to get on there and say, guys, you don't need to take the weight loss drugs. I ain't saying there's anything wrong looking like a toothpick. I think she's gorge. But I think Serena's gorge before and after too. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have a right to have an opinion, but I'm just saying people who fit a certain mold are always so quick to tell other people what they don't have to do. You have no idea. So maybe it wasn't your place to really be in the conversation. Because it's not just about weight, it's about diabetes, it's about heart health, It's about mental health. It's not just most people who are trying to obtain this are not people who are just trying to lose a little pesky 20 pounds or even a pesky 30. It's people who are trying to get the weight off so then they can turn around and keep it off because of other health issues. It's not always just about looking good in a bikini. So, I see it both ways. I see it both ways, but she said what she said. She said what she said. Now, will I be taking any of it? No. Do I even think I qualify? No. I like I said, I think I can handle my own little pesky 20. But I don't judge nobody who take it. Hey, do what you got to do with your body, but do your research, know, and just really understand the risks. Okay, and make sure you have access to decent, healthcare, reliable doctors that can really monitor and make sure that you on the right path for you and your body. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's just, but who am I? Who am I? I'm just a girl with a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Now, get a load of this. Get a load of this, y'all. So this is gonna be the last thing. I'm gonna let y'all go. So there's this little TikTok dude, few dudes. I don't remember the little boy's name. They look like they're little early 20-year-olds or whatever. But anyways, don't you know this little boy? I don't know about the rest of them, but the one little boy about to go to jail for about 5 years, prison for about 5 years because of a garden hose prank. So it was this little TikTok dude and some of his little friends. They was over at the Lowe's, Home Depot, or whatever, the Walmart, wherever. This prank has been going on at all of these. I don't remember exactly which one they got caught at, but what they were doing is in that little garden section. You know how you go into Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and it's like the garden section is kind of like outside, but it's like the store. You know what I'm saying? They were pretending to like work there, and they were taking this garden hose and they were spraying people with it and acting like it was an accident, but they were doing it on purpose. Which I don't know why it was funny, but I don't know. What some people do stuff. People just do anything for the internet, right? So they're actually spraying people, and there's a lot of these videos floating around, and it's not funny, and people obviously get very upset because, of course, rightfully so. So anyway, so they sprayed this one woman, and man, when I say she was soaked, and she was really irate to the point where now a lot of people just kind of yelled. They might have got an employee or something, but this woman, she called the police. She waited for the police to get there. Bim bam boom. Fast forward, this little boy, you are going to jail. You about to get locked up. They not letting you out. You can forget about it. It's over. It's a wrap. Why do people? And then on top of that, he lost a $10 million deal. Yep, y'all heard that right. He had a brand deal with Kik for $10 million, and they pulled out of that deal because of that prank he did. Damn. And I think he lost some other brand deals too. Can you imagine losing $10 million and you have to go to prison for 5 years because you want to spray somebody with a garden hose? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life. That's dumb. That's dumb. If you want to stage a prank, if you want to do stuff in the public, if that's your content, that's your content. But people, really think about what you're doing. And parents, like I said, these seem like these were like people, little young guys in their early 20s or whatever, which I mean we all know. I mean it's no Sade, but gosh, 22-year-old boys might as well be 12. Most of them. Not all, but most. A lot. Majority. Like, it just is what it is. Girls mature faster than boys. Argue with your mama. It is what it is. I need for parents to keep parenting. Your kids get 16, 17, 18, 22. You're not done. I say it all the time. When your child turns 18, that 18 to 25 period where that frontal lobe is still developing, that's when the parenting needs to kick into high gear, but in a different way. There are stages of parenting. You are not done when they turn 18. That's when you really that's when parenting is most important, because now they are an adult and their punishment for doing stupid stuff is prison and fines. Whereas if they do something dumb when they're 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, you could put them in a thinking corner. Okay? You can have them sit on some grass. You could take away their privileges. You can put them on punishment. You can lecture them. That's their punishment. Or you could not punish them at all. But when they are 18 and you're like, fine, bye, you're grown, you do whatever. Yeah, well, you know what? Either you're going to let your child rot in jail, or you're going to have to figure out, dang, now I got to take out a second mortgage on my house because I got to get this dum-dum out of a bind. I don't know the home life of this individual. I don't know his relationship with his parents or guardians, if he has parents or guardians, but just be aware of your kid. And I am not saying shelter them or hover over them. What I'm saying is just kind of, even if you have to do it from afar, be cognizant and aware of what your young adult child is out there doing. And this is why you cannot shelter them. Because they're going to go out into the world and they're not going to know how to conduct themselves. You have to, when they become a teenager, when they become a preteen, you have to slowly release them out into the world so they don't go out here doing random stuff just because they can. I mean, my Lord. 10 million and you're finna go to jail because you wanted some hee-ha-has on the internet? Boy, good luck to you. And all them people you thought was your friends, are they gonna come get you out of now? Huh? All right, yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know, man. I hope he learns his lesson. Hopefully he doesn't have to serve any time for that. Hopefully they can do like some community service, or hopefully he, can learn his lesson another way, because that is a really dumb reason to get locked up. But if he does end up getting locked up, I mean, look, let this be a lesson learned. Let this really truly be a lesson learned, because let this be an example that just putting stuff on the internet, because you just stop and think about what you're doing. But I think people forget, man, that frontal lobe, that's not fully developed till you about 25. And not only do you not have a fully developed frontal lobe, but your brain is discarding a lot of unnecessary information. So let's have a little psychology lesson right now. So there are certain moments in everyone's life where the brain will discard certain information that just isn't necessary anymore. It's kind of like how your phone just kind of updates itself and or you know how you got to reboot a computer back in the day or something. That's essentially what your brain does. Your brain, you know how you got to clear out your cookies and stuff on your browsers and stuff. You got to clean it out because it gets cluttered and your brain runs slow, or your, the memory or your RAM or whatever. The computer runs slow, right? Your brain is your computer, right? So there are moments in your life where it gets rid of things, and when it's doing that, it can cause your cognitive ability and your thought process, your everyday tasks to be a little off, and it can make you tired. One of the biggest dumps, one of the biggest reboots happens when we are teenagers. That's why, like, you notice, like, teenagers, they want to sleep all the time, or they do and say stuff that doesn't make any sense, or you like, oh my god, like, why is my child so goofy? Like, they just, teenagers have a reputation of being really weird, really dumb, really, they forget stuff, they're leaving stuff, they're walking in the walls, they kind of turn into toddlers, and they just do and things that it doesn't make any sense, right? It's usually, most of the time, not because of your parenting. It's not because they are lazy. It's not that. It's that their body is getting rid of all of these little things that they needed as kids. It's just information that the brain just doesn't need anymore. And it's making space and it's making changes, and it really takes a toll on the body. So if your teenager's sleeping a lot, honestly, let them, instill in them values and staying busy, and make sure that they're keeping up with their homework and their chores and stuff. But honestly, it's really, really hard on the body. And a lot of people grow up and they forget that time in their life. But yeah, it's just, so it happens during teenage years, but that's like the biggest one. And that's why teenagers get such a bad rep of being like insufferable, or being just like doing the most, or just doing things that and when you think back when you were a teenager and you're like, oh my gosh, that was really dumb. That didn't even why did I do that? It's because your brain was just reformatting. Okay. It was getting rid of, these little connections that you just don't need anymore, and making room for new neural activity. All that to say, there's other moments in a person's life where your brain goes through that, where it's getting rid of stuff that it's not using to make room for new information and new connections and new, more advanced neurodivergent activity. So, all that to say, your kids don't have it all figured out, and you just need to monitor, because you can stop them from making very permanent decisions, or very expensive, costly ones, probably to you, because I mean, with the exception of a certain class of people, you're a young person, your 23-year-old doesn't have a whole lot of money. They don't have the life experience. They don't. So just don't think you're done. And be aware what your children are doing online. Yes. Yeah. Anyways, I've rambled on. But I will say this one thing while we're talking about being online, and I'm going to let y'all go for real. Can we please, parents, look, no Sade to my young listeners, but and if you listen to this, I don't know, find your mama or something, because anybody can listen to this, but this really ain't for kids like that. I try to keep it clean, family friendly, but this is grown people territory. So, but parents, can we do something about your kids coming into grown people spaces, and these grown people spaces that I'm speaking of? If I've been enjoying a live, like a political debate, if I'm enjoying some like lives on TikTok, and it is clearly 18 and over, and I'm trying to listen to people debate politics, or or just it's some kind of Q&A that's meant, like, it's grown people. Can you make sure your kids aren't coming in interrupting? They're not supposed to be there anyway. But it's really annoying when, because see, what happens is, like, I specifically say the political debates because those are most of the ones that I watch. So I'm listening to people have the debates, and they have the people come up and they're talking, but then the actual people, the grown people who want to come up to debate, they can't get through because your little third graders keep requesting up. And then the person who's hosting the live is getting frustrated because they have to keep kicking all these little kids out who are coming up saying all kind of you need to watch your kids, because they be coming up saying some crazy stuff. They come up saying some crazy stuff. Okay, please watch your kids. But anyways, so the kids come up, and then the host gets frustrated, and sometimes the host ends the live because it's just too many kids coming up in there playing. And now I don't have entertainment because you ain't watching your children. Anyways, get your kids involved, get them some homework, do the things, but or at least teach them to, like, just watch and be quiet. And if you are a kid, man, move. Like, if you want to be here, just sit and watch and observe. This is not for you. Stop coming up and, like, don't do that. They come up and then they want to come up there and lie, and they were like, they were like, oh, so and so, how old are you, where are you from? And they were like, oh, I'm 23. I'm like, man, go get out. I'm trying to hear some people debate, man, and you in the way. And it's now that school's back in, you would think it would slow down. No, all it is that they just saving up the energy. And as soon as 3:00 it hit, it's like that, man. TikTok Live is an awful place to be between the hours of like 3 to 5, wherever you are. Between 3 and 5, it's just a wrap, because those kids been waiting all day to get on their phone and come on there and just say some crazy, man, get out. This is 18 plus for a reason. Jeez, go move. But anyways, no, it's no shade. Like, hey, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to enjoy, like, the jokes and have fun and stuff. We over here having fun. You coming here trolling, getting people's lives taken down and stuff. Because really, they're not supposed to be in there. And TikTok is they're real quick to delete people's accounts and give people strikes and stuff. And if your child keeps going up there and TikTok thinks that a grown person is talking to a child, they're going to delete the grown person's account. People make livings off of this. Watch your kids. Where are you that you can't hear them yelling the N-word? Where are you? Where are the parents? This is crazy. But anyways, so that's my rant. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But anyways, y'all be easy out here, and I will catch y'all in the next episode. Whoa. Okay, bye.